All right, so this week we had talked about celiac disease a little bit, and so basically that's what I'm going to kind of talk about a little bit and just kind of go over. So, celiac disease, as some of you may or may not know, it's an autoimmune disorder that occurs genetically, and it is a condition where when you ingest or eat gluten products, it actually breaks down the enzymes and the small intestine, and so it can be really, really hurtful to your body and have some major effects. Some of those effects you might see, you might be constantly bloated. You might have some chronic constipation. You might even be losing weight because you don't want to eat because it makes your stomach upset. And so, like, the only way to solve this problem is to stop eating gluten, and basically that's the only treatment for it. You can take some different kind of supplements and stuff to help rebuild those enzymes in your small intestine, but in the long run, you just have to cut out gluten. So, what gluten is, it's basically a product that you find in wheat, barley, rye, or oats. And so a lot of what we consume in the American diet has gluten in it. So you have to go to the store, you have to find products that are gluten free, certified gluten free, and basically that just means that it has been overseen by a third party, that these companies that are producing this food and packaging this food is that they're keeping a so much percentage of gluten out of the product so it doesn't hurt your stomach. And basically you have to buy it. It's a little bit more expensive, but that's all right. I mean, in the long run, you're not going to be going to the doctor. You're going to be feeling a lot better. Um, a lot of times people with celiac disease are lactose intolerant, so that's another thing you have to watch out for, is that the enzyme that you need to break down the lactose and the sugar in the milk, you can't produce when you're eating gluten or ingesting gluten. So a lot of times you'll have to cut out milk, cut out dairy for a while until you can get those enzymes rebuilt back up by basically cutting out gluten. And then eventually, once you cut out gluten, you should be able to start ingesting some dairy products again because your body can recreate those enzymes that it takes to uh, break down the milk sugars. And just, I have a personal relation with this because my cousin, when I was in middle school, my cousin was living with us, and she was first diagnosed with just a lactose intolerant, and she did all these things to try and cut out her lactose, her dairy intake, and it just wasn't helping. And so eventually they came back and decided, they did some tests and they realized that she had celiac disease. And so this basically meant that she had a lot of different food needs. And so our house got restocked basically. Although we did get some stuff that we wanted, a lot of things were being replaced with gluten free, whether it was flour, rice, just the regular things that we ate for dinner, ate for lunch. We didn't really have anymore. Like, it was just the gluten free version. And so this was really problemsome for her because she couldn't eat the same stuff that we were eating and was being prepared. So a lot of times she was preparing food on her own, or if my mom was preparing the food, she was eating maybe a little bit later than us, especially at the beginning because meal prep times just didn't add up. And so at first it was really frustrating for her, and she felt kind of isolated because she didn't get to eat with the family. She didn't eat what the family was eating. But obviously, like, as time grew on, we started figuring things out, and we started being able to match up meal prep times so she could eat with us, and she could eat some of the things that we were eating, but then we replaced some things that we were eating for different things that she was eating, just to try and make her feel more included because she is family. And we just didn't want her to feel like that because this isn't something that she could prevent or something that she did on her own. It's something that just happens and you can't really do anything about it. And in the long run, you just have to figure out how to deal with it and make it the best that you can. So, like, in the U.S., there's about 2 million people with it. So she's one person of that 2 million people. and they say that about 1% of the people in the U.S. will have it, and that number just continues to rise. So, yeah, I mean, celiac disease, not good, but it's not going to kill you as long as you do the right things and get your diet and your lifestyle under control.